Sony has just released 3 APS-C wide-angle lenses in one go. In this video, we'll be taking a quick look at this one, the 10-20 f4G. Among these 3 compact wide angles, this is the only zoom lens, and although it is an f4 zoom, I actually think it's the most remarkable lens released this round. Because for starters, Sony has once again dropped the world's smallest and lightest f4 ultra-wide-angle zoom for APS-C. The overall size of this lens kind of reminds me of the full-frame compact G primes, and in fact, this ultra-wide-angle zoom actually looks so much like a prime because it zooms internally. For a lens this physically short, when you zoom and focus, there is zero movement on the exterior of the lens. And while that's already impressive considering how small the unit is to house an internal zoom, it's also a power zoom. And here's the irony. This lens is actually the lightest among the 3 releasing this round. This zoom, this power zoom, is lighter than the other 2 primes. And don't let how cutely small this is distract you from the fact that this still is a G lens. Besides the shiny G badge, it's equipped with a focus hold button and a physical AF/MF switch. Being a power zoom, you get a variable speed zoom lever on the side of the lens, you know, the kind that makes the lens zoom faster the further in you push it, but you also get a traditional zoom ring. Just bear in mind the zoom ring doesn't have focal length markings because it doesn't have hard stops. But one design detail that I think is very well done is how the focus ring is made slightly thinner and is a little raised relative to the zoom ring. So this way you can clearly feel and not grab the wrong ring by mistake when operating such a small lens. The electronic zoom ring also responds to very precise, very fine inputs, and the rotation response is also linear. This 10-20G essentially replaces the existing 10-18 OSS, except this time gaining a tiny bit more reach on the long end, giving you a 15-30mm full-frame equivalent. And considering this is such a small zoom lens, the image quality is spectacularly good. Definitely exceeded my expectations for a tiny zoom. Across the zoom range, you do lose a touch of resolution towards the extreme corners, but even then, it still holds detail extremely well. This lens actually reminds me very much of the full-frame 16-35 power zoom that was released just not long ago. This is almost like its APS-C counterpart. It shares many of the unique benefits offered by the 16-35 power zoom, except this one is even smaller, even lighter, and even cheaper. Its internal zoom, plus the fact that it's so short physically, means there is barely any shift in weight distribution as you zoom it in and out. So you can throw this on a gimbal and not worry about any balancing issues if you were to, say, change focal lengths while this setup is being flown. The electronically driven zoom also means you can operate the zoom remotely without needing to touch the setup, which itself is a huge convenience in certain use cases. So this really is a little lens with big value to offer. And interestingly enough, here in Malaysia at least, this 10-20G is launching for a slightly lower price than the old 10-18. Still, I can't quite get over how much they were able to pack in such a small body. But the other 2 primes released alongside this are very compact and very good wide-angle options to consider as well. I'll pull up those reviews here on the screen, and maybe I'll catch you over in one of those videos.